let's talk some NFL. NFL, man, this coaching thing is wild. Let's get a full screen going right now so we can show you all the openings that are happening in the NFL. Obviously, yesterday, Sean Payton. Sean Payton is out. You see him. Look, here's the deal. You got the Broncos, the Vikings, the Dolphins, the Giants, the Texans, the Jaguars, the Raiders, and the Saints. Then you got the Bears who hired theirs. You got the Vikings, the Giants, and the Raiders, and the Steelers having GM openings. Look, Sean Payton leaving is interesting because his rights for the next couple of years, 3 years, I believe, will be owned by New Orleans. So let's say, for the sake of argument, go to the Cowboys. Going to have to be a trade. Going to have to be some type of trade somewhere because you're not just letting Sean Payton go. You're not. But anyway, so Sean Payton, 15 seasons in the league, 9 playoff appearances, 1 Super Bowl. A hell of a call in that Super Bowl, by the way. I mean, a hell of a call. Like, in that Super Bowl, Sean Payton went out and onside kick to start the second half. Hank Baskett, who came to the Colts, remember his wife, whatever her name was, Wilkerson? She had a show on like A&E. She was one of Hef's girls. Anyway, he was the husband of Kendra. Kendra Wilkerson, ball's in his hand, he loses it. Next thing you know, it takes a possession away from Peyton Manning. Sean Payton wins. A brilliant coaching move. It was a brilliant coaching move. Sean Payton's the hottest guy. There's a lot of names here, whether it's Jim Caldwell, Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator of the Colts, Dan Quinn, who looks like he wants a second chance or is going to get a second chance. But I'm telling you right now, Sean Payton's the jewel, but you're going to have to trade for him. This is really interesting. I think what's going to happen is once one of these places hires somebody, then you're going to see dominoes fall. Boom, 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 boom. But I don't think it's going to be Sean Payton. He said he doesn't think he's coaching this year. He said he thinks he'd be good on TV, and he probably would. TV is like the easiest job in America. I mean, look, for a coach, you're used to standing up in front of your team. I remember when Urban Meyer went into TV, he asked me, he goes, how do you do it? I just try to teach the game like I would my team. I just try to tell my team or tell my listeners exactly what I would tell my team in a film session. Sean Payton will be good at it if that's what he wants to do. All right, let's go through some of the things. The first is Sean Payton obviously stepping down. That's monstrous. The Bears, this was actually pretty funny. David Kaplan, who is the voice of Chicago, came on my afternoon show, which, by the way, noon to 3 on 107.5 The Fan. A lot of angst going on right now. I'll get into that. But anyway, he told us that Ryan Poles, the assistant director of player personnel of the Kansas City Chiefs, is going to be the guy in Chicago. But he also asked me this. Think about this. He said, if you wanted Ryan Poles and you're in Chicago and you own a franchise that's worth over $3 billion. Now remember, you want this guy, Poles. How would you go about getting him from Kansas City to Chicago? My answer was, well, we get the private plane. We get the private plane. We fly him into Midway, closer to downtown. We get a limo, one of them big black stretch limos. The owner's there. We meet him. We come in. We do a little business on the way, get to know each other, and then have our interviews. You know what the McCaskies did? They flew him coach, maybe first class, certainly commercial, on United. There's video, I think it's George McCaskey, the kid, going in with his Bears mask, his Bears jacket, waiting at baggage claim for Ryan Poles to get picked up. It's beautiful. I think that deal is done. By all accounts, that deal is done. So Ryan Poles, which I would assume is an excellent pick, I guess, he's the new general manager. Also yesterday, in the Bears building, and I think it's happening today, in fact, I know it is, Jim Caldwell, the former Colts and Lions coach is getting an interview. Dan Quinn is getting an interview. Word on the street, at least from Cappy, is that Dan Quinn's the guy they want to hire. Also in the mix is defensive coordinator of my beloved Colts, Matt Eberflus. Now, I'm very critical about Eberflus, but Eberflus, by all accounts, is a really, really good dude. Like, Eberflus and my wife's ex-husband, they all grew up together. So the Eberflusses out of Toledo are considered really good people. I hope he gets a job, partially because I want him out of Indy, but also because seems like a really good guy. All right, let's continue with the opening. So it's going to be Caldwell or Quinn. Fine. The Giants want Dan Quinn. Now, here's why I think that's a perfect fit for the Giants. If you look at Joe Judge, I'm sure he's really good. I mean, you don't get elevated to the head coach position if you're not really good, but he wasn't. He kind of started behind. He didn't seem like a serious guy for some reason. He lasted 2 years. Shermer lasted 2 years. Now, he seemed like a serious guy. The guy before him, Ben McAfee, looked like the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He had that stash. It just seemed goofy to me. Dan Quinn's a serious guy. Dan Quinn's taken a team to the Super Bowl. Dan Quinn has overhauled, I guess, the Dallas Cowboys defense. Dan Quinn seems to me to be the logical guy in New York. It feels like the Giants need an adult. You know, it's like that Supreme Court judge said about pornography years ago. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. It's kind of the same thing here. It's like, what do you mean by the Giants need an adult? Well, I don't know. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. Like, do they need an adult? Yes. What does that mean? You know what it means? It means somebody that is going to get up there in a press conference and make everybody in New York City that's a Giant fan believe that the Giants are going to be back in business. That's what it means. You know, it's like when Kentucky hired John Calipari. Excuse me. I get a throat. When Kentucky hired John Calipari and fired Billy Gillispie, Calipari came in there, and after his press conference, everybody that was and is a fan of the University of Kentucky believed that John Calipari, they needed him. He didn't need them. They needed him. They didn't need Billy Gillispie. Billy Gillispie was smaller than them. Calipari, bigger than them. It's the same thing here. It's the Giants. It's New York. You want somebody that has a persona, not exactly like Parcells, but you want them to believe you're the guy. You know what I mean? You're the guy. So I think Dan Quinn's a perfect fit. He won't be playing catch-up. Now, we'll see what happens.